This episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by GoDaddy. Coming up on TRS, whose side will you take? The Devil's Radvocate, perhaps?
Everybody, and welcome to the first ever Devil's Radvocate. Now, what we want to do on this is I'm going to pose a question to either Dan or Jeff. They will have to take an opinion. Now, no matter whatever their opinion is, the other person will have to play Devil's Radvocate and advocate for the opposite position, whether they agree with that or not.
So disclaimer, this is not based on actual opinions, it's based on debating.
Well, but you can state what your opinion is in certain situations. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a TV question.
And then you're gonna judge us and give us points.
I will judge you guys and give you points arbitrarily. Okay. Last week, we reviewed Martin Scorsese's directorial not debut on TV. Has he directed TV before?
I don't know.
Maybe it was his directorial debut.
Let's debate that.
We don't know. Was or was not that his directorial debut? Jeff? No. Now that we're getting some of these heavy hitters from the movie world coming into television, and TV is sort of meeting this great sort of second golden age of television in our generation, do you think that TV has surpassed movies in its ability to tell engaging stories and develop character? Longer periods of time? Would we get a Vic Mackey movie? Jeffrey, what do you think?
I'm going to say that yes, TV has become a grander, better, more effective storytelling medium than films. And it has more time to create longer arcs of characters. You have the ability to have a larger cast being the main character. You can have episodes featuring sub-characters. Basically, it's time. It's the ability to stretch out a narrative over a longer period of time. I am able to invest deeper in these characters because I'm with them for a longer period of time. And
Daniel, what do you think?
I'm gonna play the Devil's Radvocate and say that movies are still far superior to storytelling in television.
Pray tell.
That is because, first of all, you go to a movie theater, you have a shared experience with a group of people that you cannot have that kind of experience in any other way. You're staring up at a screen. When you see a close-up of a character, it is 9 feet tall. I mean, you're looking up and seeing subtlety and emotions that you cannot get, no matter how big your TV screen is. There's nothing compares to the size and the way that feels. Okay. Also, while you may be stretching out stories in TV, but you are not getting one contained ride of an experience. There's no commercial breaks. There's no the end of the week and I've forgotten what happened last week and catch me up, and there's no oh, I'm gonna eat my dinner while I watch, the phone rings, whatever. I'm experiencing the story of that character in one contained.
Interesting. Although you do have, for every non-TV break, there are Romeo and Juliets that are 17 hours and you have to take an intermission. What do you say to that? What do you say to that?
The gentleman from Philadelphia clearly is advocating for giants. Evidently, David had the best storytelling experience dealing with Goliath because size of face is the definitive factor. I think
he's losing points.
Don't worry, I got you.
I have a big television. I know both of you have big televisions.
Oh, so you do like big things then?
I'm saying it's a moot point, is what I'm saying. And not only that, but the fact that you get episode after episode, season after season, you get to see characters grow. The end of a movie is the end of your experience with a character, and oftentimes it's they lived happily ever after. You don't get that with TV because next week you gotta have something else, next season you gotta have something else. Repercussions! Repercussions, sir!
However, the way the production of TV is so that everything is very condensed, rushed. In a movie, you have, a script is written over years. Pre-production happens over a year or close to that. Production takes many months, and then post-production another year after that. So everything is being cooked and baked to perfection. It's not rushed because
Your cookie
we have to get it
baked.
in before this week or that week, and we only start writing it, you know, and you have an auteur in movies. In television shows, you have your creator, and he oversees things, but you can only oversee so much. Directors change from week to week. You don't have that one unified vision, that artistry that happens in movies.
Ask Sean Ryan or Alan Ball that question.
Right,
Or
I'm sure
J.J.
every
Abrams
single
did.
episode of those, there aren't weeks where they're milking something out because they just need to get that episode up before they get to the real meat of the story, whatever it is. You don't get milking it out. You don't get stretching it out.
All right, I believe I've heard enough. I'm ready to make
Dispense
my
your judgment.
Okay.
of the possible 20 points arbitrarily. I believe I will have to get, this is going to be tough as the first Devil's Radvocate, but I believe I'm going to go 10 points to Daniel Trachtenberg for his passionate display of movie-making passionery. And 4 points to Jeff Kanata for his television stance, but a bonus 6 points to Jeff Kanata for a lot of the giant faces.
So 10 versus 10.
10 versus 10. Really, I think this conversation could happen for the ages, because I agree with a lot of your points. Having more time allows you to build out these characters you would not be able to do. Yet in movies, you do get things like Lord of the Rings that end up being 22 hours or whatever it is. But also, a lot of times, movies hang themselves with their own rope. They have so much
own
time,
petard.
and then
Wasted by their own petard.
there is a season 7 of Lost that happens.
All right.
So I'm gonna say a 50-50, 10
So
points.
worst
to 10
judging
points.
ever.
I agree.
Topic 2. So we've seen Street Fighter get an HD remix. Now we're getting HD versions of Sly Cooper, Ico, and Shadow of the Colossus. And just last week we heard a big announcement of Beyond Good and Evil getting a complete HD remake with new textures and new character models. So my question to you guys is this a good trend? Are we excited? We had this discussion on Weekend Confirmed as well. Are we excited about the fact that we get these old games rejuvenated for a new audience, or is it
Messing with the formula.
not just that, but are we just retreading old experiences and not pushing the medium forward into new places? Alex, what do you think?
I'm gonna say that I think this is a great thing. And I definitely say that this is a great thing because Dan will think this is a great thing, and he has to play Devil's Advocate. No.
Should have made Alex play it.
I think it's great because, first off, a lot of these games, people of this generation may not have ever been able to experience, and because of the barrier to entry, I mean, a lot of these games, some of them may not even run on a 360 or a PS3. You know, if they're PlayStation 1 games or if they're Xbox Never
Or
games
old
or
PC
whatever,
games
or
that
old
are-
PC games. So I think it brings these opportunities for people to have these experiences that I know we all cherish, and yet you also allow yourself to relive without revisiting to a dark, dreary world of crap graphics. Because a lot of the games, when you go back and you're like, oh, I love that game, and you watch it, you're like, wow, that's what King's Quest looked like, because that does not look like what I remember King's Quest looking like. But playing an updated HD version can give you the same nostalgic response, and you can still enjoy the gameplay, yet you're visually pleased.
Daniel, Devil's Advocate.
Okay, first of all, I like to say that they're not redoing graphics, they are updating them in HD, right? So they're not remaking the game with modern technology, they are just cleaning up sprites, for instance, or whatever, correct?
Yeah, updating textures,
Okay.
adding polygons.
So it can only get so clean with a game it's still not gonna look like today's video game, it's just gonna look like a little bit better version of an older game.
Maybe, I'm
that
not a
being
technology
said,
person.
I am a big fan of history. And I love Star Wars. Before that I loved Jason and the Argonauts and all the effects that happened there, but I also love The Matrix.
Yeah, I'm already deducting points because you're talking about movies and not video games.
Amazing.
And but I will say that if The Matrix didn't use its computer-generated graphics and its new camera system, if The Matrix was using claymation to do its special effects, I don't think we would be where we are today in special effects and in filmmaking. I think we need to constantly do new, more forward-thinking things in order to progress. We can't stay in the past.
First off, I will take issue 2 points there, Mr. Devil's Advocate. 1, we're not talking about movies, we're talking about video games. 2, I don't think that what anybody is saying about the positiveness of HD remakes of these video games is in lieu of pushing the technological boundary of new games. It's not in lieu. It's at the same time. There now, especially with all these new great indie game companies, there are more people making video games now than have ever been in history, and that is a fact that I'm making up right now. But I believe it to be true. Whether it is or not, I believe it to be true. So I definitely don't think that this is in lieu of, I don't want to have the Matrix be claymation ever, though maybe 2 and 3 might have helped. But I also would love to, I'm interested in the 3D version of New Hope. I'm interested in that they announced
Let me
recently,
just say, Beyond Good and Evil, getting an HD, great game. Love that game.
I've never played it.
When they showed a teaser trailer.
So, I will play it in HD.
When they showed a teaser trailer for the new Beyond Good and Evil, I could not wait. And what I do not like
You're not devil's
is that
advocating.
instead of getting my new Beyond Good and Evil 2, that looked amazing, they're giving me a remake of a game that I already played that I can download on game whatever, where you can download old games. I mean, you can still play those games. But now that company is spending their money and their employees and all that time to clean up an older game that looks great anyway. And I have
they're
that
not
place,
spending their employees.
It fits into that place in history just fine. And now I want their next thing.
Well, should I play Beyond Good and Evil now? Should I just go and get it, or should I wait? I've never played it. What should I do?
You should, because I am playing Devil's Advocate, you should wait for the new one. All right,
that's the rough. Oh, I don't even know what that.
Dan, you started very weak, but you ended very strong.
I felt that.
I felt that as well.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page about that. I award you 5,000 points.
Yay!
Alex.
Yes.
I'm deducting 5,000 points from you.
Because why?
Because you.
It's too easy?
No, because you. I don't remember why. I thought of it while you were talking. But the good news is I'm awarding you 10,000 points.
Amazing!
Because I agree with you, and
Amazing.
You want to play Beyond Good and Evil, and so that's really good.
Amazing.
So strangely, it's 2 ties in this game.
Tune in next time
which is
for
not good.
Next time, there will be no ties. All right, before we say goodbye, we want to thank our sponsor, GoDaddy.com. First off, GoDaddy.com, 99% for their web hosting, 99% uptime, 24/7 support, which is amazing. If you're in that point 1 and something happens, get them on the phone. Bingo, bango. Speaking of phone, they have an iPhone app, an Android app, and a BlackBerry app for doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I use it to check for domains when I'm like on the go, and you're like, oh, that would be a cool website, and it's not available. But
it's
also,
weird that Nike.com.
I know, Nike.com. It would have been great. I was thinking Greek god. Anyway, head over to GoDaddy.com, and when you are there purchasing stuff, make sure to use the coupon code TRS8 when you check out, 10% off the entire order. Also, head over to revision3.com/GoDaddy for all of the offers. Amazing.
Amazing.
So we've been neglecting to say, Extra Life is coming back up, the 24 hours of gaming for charity.
We are very excited to participate again. It's the 2nd annual, and we had such a great time last year.
It's really cool.
This is a charity that helps out children's hospitals all around the country. We picked one in LA that our monies are going to go to.
Yep.
And those monies come from you. So we are going to stay up for 24 hours playing video games. We're going to live stream it so you can watch and participate. We would request that if you watch and participate, throw a little money toward the charity. It doesn't have to be a lot, whatever you can spare.
What to get info? Is it tinyurl.com/extralifetrs?
Yep.
I think that's what it is. All right, people, that's it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. By weeks, I mean today. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Peace. See you in a minute.
Tomorrow, can Ryan Reynolds carry a film all by himself, buried in a box? We find
Did I
out.
say buried or buried?
You said buried.
I did a little hybrid,
You also said open wide really weird.
Open wide. Buried.
I think being buried alive is probably up there with one of my biggest fears.
Girded of their loins. I mean, like, you really gotta be. You really gotta be.
You're a little claustrophobic. I was worried about that.
It's a question you always ask everybody you meet. How girded of your loins are you?